All right, today I'm going to show you how to create your distance learning art portfolio and some of the basics about using this, because this will be how you upload your classwork or your artwork from home or from school. You'll upload your artwork and you'll also be writing reflections on your artwork, and this will become a collection that you will have, and you'll submit this every time an assignment is due, so that you'll keep adding to this portfolio so that by the end of the quarter we can see your growth, but we can also see all the wonderful artwork that you've created. And even if we ever have to go to a full distance learning, you'll still be able to use this to submit your artwork. So let's get started with that today. So if you come over to your stream, and again, I'm just using grade 8 as one example, but all the grades will have this. You'll notice here in the stream, it says 2020 DL artwork, and I tell you exactly how to create a copy of this, and it's just like we did with our first assignment, All About Me. You're going to open the assignment, and in this example, I've started you off with a model. In other words, this is what it should look like as you proceed through. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to File, and then make a copy, just like we've done before. Make a copy of the entire presentation. And remember, you're going to put, where it says copy of, you're going to put the first letter of your first name and your entire last name. You could put a space between it if you want to, because basically we just want to be able to find this document. Now also, where it says folder here, you're going to want to make sure it's in your Art 2020 folder. So you want to click on folder and go to your Art 2020 folder that we created the first week of school. Make sure it's saved there so you can always find your artwork and your pictures there. That's where we're going to save everything that we do. Alright, so when you've done that, you're going to click on OK, and it will create your copy that you can then go about editing. And so what I want to show you today are a few things about using this portfolio. The first thing is that we want to name it, since we're going to name it the same thing, first letter of our first name and the last name. So if you go here in your slide, on that first slide, it says Jay Schneider. Well, that's not your name, so you're going to put your first letter of your first name here and your last name here. And it's set up for you, Distance Learning Art Portfolio. Now, if you don't like the look of the font, if you want to change the font, all those settings are right up here. You would just make sure, let's say you wanted to make your name a little bolder. That's fine. I want you to have fun with this and kind of make it your own. So maybe I want to make it bold. Maybe I want to add some other things to it, like a drop shadow or whatever. You can do that by looking up here and playing around with these various tools. But again, once the object is selected, then you'll be able to see what tools are available to you. Alright, so as we go down, this is where you'll find the instructions for the use, and actually a link to this video will be there. Also, when you submit your assignments, it should look something like this. It should have the artwork in place, the title of the artwork, which you'll give it the title, whatever you want to call it is fine. You'll give it the title, it'll have the artwork, the image of your artwork, and artwork from class assignment 1. This is very important. So these three aspects are very important for each slide that you do. When it's a artwork slide, it says artwork from class assignment number 1. And I will try to, on each of these videos, at least in the beginning, remind you that you need to put a title for your artwork, the image of your artwork, and then the assignment that it belongs to, so you know and I know which assignment you're wanting me to grade you on. So artwork from class assignment number 1 I wrote. And again, this is just an example. You don't have an assignment as of yet. The next slide, as you'll see, is a reflection. So there's two aspects. There's the artwork and there's the reflection. And this is a reflection from class assignment number 1. So I'm thinking about and talking about the artwork that I created here. which is artwork number 1. It's talking about the goldfish. So as you read this, you can see it's using full sentences. All the spelling is good. It says, in this watercolor painting entitled Watercolor Goldfish Study 2020, I used the elements of shape and color. The watercolor brushstrokes made a variety of shapes such as circles, rectangles, and organic cylinder shapes for eyes and fins. The bright colors were made by using the pure colors from my watercolor set such as orange, blue, and yellow. Now for each assignment there'll be a different writing prompt, but for this one, as you can see in the notes section, if you look down here in the notes section, the instructions are clear. And again, this would be graded on a rubric where it says, please explain where you applied the elements of art in this artwork. So you need to mention the elements of art. Explain the dominant element in detail. So in this case, I explained 2 elements that were dominant, namely the shapes, such as circles, and the rectangular shapes and the organic shapes that are of the goldfish. And I also talked about color. So I used the 2 elements of art, shape and color. Those were the 2 dominant, I felt, in this work of art. All right, so that's the basics. Now, how do you actually go about doing this in your own? Well, to do that, what I'll do is I'll go and, since I'm going to add this to the end, here's what I would like you to do. Go to slide number 4 and just select it. And what we do from here will then place our slides below slide number 4. So we're going to go here to the main menu under slide. And we're going to go down and hover over apply layout. Actually, we're going to go to new slide rather. Sorry. I'm going to go to new slide. And what that will do is it'll create a new slide. Okay, and you can see this is kind of a pretty watercolor slide here. If you don't like the layout, if you want to change the layout, you would simply click on the slide and then go to slide, apply layout. And there's all kinds of different colored layouts here. So you could pick one that you would like. Or if you want to, you could create your own. As long as you have what I'm asking for, the image, the title, and the class assignment that it belongs to. If you keep this format, you can change these if you want to. It's your portfolio. You can kind of make it your own and make it fun. All right, but using this, what I would do is come down here and I would have a brand new slide. Now, to insert an image of my artwork, I would go to Insert, Image, and I can then upload it from my computer, or I can go to my Google Drive. And as I said before, is if you wanted to attach your phone to your email, if you just sent yourself an email with your images, which is what I did, then you can simply place those images right to your Google Drive and find them. So if I click on my Google Drive, over here you're going to see a bunch of images. And let's just take this one. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to click Insert. And it inserts it. Now it's kind of on its side. So how am I going to fix that? Well, right here is the circle tool. This is going to actually be able to help me flip it. If I do it just right, I can get it. Actually, I can get it to turn. Okay. Maybe I have to make it smaller first. Make it smaller, and then if I come here, there it goes, and I drag it, I can actually turn it the direction I want. So I'm left clicking and dragging, and there it is. So I get it to the size and the proportion that I want it. Now again, I want it to fill up because this is a huge part. I want it to fill it up pretty well, but not completely. And then there's a couple things I'm just going to show you real quickly. If you need me to go into more detail, I can in class. But I'm going to crop the image. When I click on crop, it allows me to take out some of those edges that I don't need and take out some of this blank space here on the right that I don't really need, so that we can focus more on the artwork itself. And then I would just click the crop button again, and there it is. It's cropped. I can move it around. Another thing I like to do just to fancy things up is go to format options, because I can actually place a drop shadow. If I click on this drop shadow and then go into the settings and change the angle a little bit. If I change the angle a little bit, I can actually make this bigger by changing distance and blur radius. So if I come out here, I can actually make this thing, if I play with these settings, I can change the distance. I'm going to bring that out. I'm going to change the angle as well. I'm going to bring it more this way. And maybe tighten up the blur a little bit. But you can see already, if I take some of that opacity out, you can start to see the drop shadow, how that makes it look really nice. Alright, so there were 3 things we needed to add to each of these artwork slides. Okay, and I'm just going to show you a simple way to do this. So I've added the image. That's the only part that you really have to add that's really unique. If you go back to slide number 3, we can simply copy this. We select until it turns to the blue squares, hit Control C, and then I'm going to go down to my slide that I want to add this to, hit Control V. And there it is, artwork from class assignment. This would not be class assignment 1. This might be from class assignment number 5 or whatever. They might not necessarily go in order. It depends on what class assignment it is. But let's just say it's class assignment number 2. I would change it to class assignment 2. And there it is. I've got the title of the assignment. And now I have to put a title for the image. So I'm going to come up here to the text box. And I'm going to select an area down at the bottom, and I'm simply going to type in Loon at the Moon, just because I think that's clever. Loon at the Moon, and I can select this if I don't want it to be so small. If I want it to be a little bit different, I can come up and change it around. Loon at the Moon. And I might put that over here where it's a little bit easier to see. Loon at the Moon. And I'll put the date, 2020. Alright, so there it is. Those are the basic aspects. Now the other part is the reflection. So to do this reflection, here's an easy way to do this. You just click on the reflection that you wrote before. And then you right click. And then go to duplicate slide, and then simply bring it down. All right. So then I'm going to go down to where it says reflection from art class. I'm going to change this to assignment number 2. And here, I'm going to change this explanation. So in this watercolor painting, I'm going to entitle Loon at the Moon. I use the elements, so I got to go back and I got to think about it. Okay, what did I use here? This is a shape. This is a circle shape. These are lines. So more I used lines in this one. Lines and shapes. So I would talk about the lines and shapes. I used the elements of line and shape, and I would change this. Line and shape. The watercolor brush strokes made a variety of lines. So I'm going to put lines representing plants, a plant, flowers, plant, flower, flowers, and a loon. The shapes of the moon and the loon were created using special brush strokes. And there it is. And I would change this to Loon at the Moon. And that's it. I've got my reflection and I've got my artwork. So it's as simple as that. All right, so again, I'll be answering questions if you have them in the class. And as videos are needed, I will append and make new videos for this. But that's the basics. And today, in class, or the next time we meet, we're going to be practicing putting this together. So again, as you're in class, I'll work with you on this. All right, we'll see you next time. Take care.